Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Beau Frank and I'm an oil painter based now out of Boston. This is my new studio space. Notice how my closet is just completely filled with canvases. Anyway, today we're gonna do varnishing because that's one of the questions that I get a lot about. It's like, how do I varnish a piece? When do I varnish a piece? Like, what are some tips and tricks and recommendations and advice? So I'm just gonna jump right into it. This one's gonna be short and sweet. Hopefully under 2-3 minutes. Let's do it. So as an oil painter, I always varnish all of my paintings. I always make sure that they are touch dry before I apply a varnish. I use liquin medium, which is a speeding agent. So I only have to wait about 5 days to a week before I varnish. But if you're using other mediums like linseed oil or other types of oils, it may take you anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. So in this video, I'm specifically using Gamblin's varnish formula. There's gloss, satin, and matte. I'm using some cheapo brushes from Blick, and then a container with a lid to put my varnish in. Before I jump into the actual varnishing though, I always like to prep my panels or my canvases for the varnish. So in this case, if I'm using wood panels, I like to apply painter's tape so that I can have a nice clean finish. So if there's any dribble of the varnish, it doesn't get over the edges. And then once the varnish has dried, I can just peel that off for a nice clean wood finish. This is an example of what it looks like. If I didn't put the tape on, the varnish dribbles would pour over the side and create these unnatural, uneven sheens. And then on paintings like this one where I actually paint over the sides, I'm actually going to varnish those edges as well because that's also oil paint. First things first, I like to use a lint roller to remove any hairs or dust. Then using a soft bristle brush, I dip it into a separate container so I have more control over how much varnish goes on the canvas. I make sure I don't apply too much at a time so that there's no pooling, especially along the edges. Then I like to lean over the canvas and kind of make sure that there's no dust or hairs, and if there are any, I like to pull it with tweezers. Usually during this process, I'm wearing a hat. Once I'm done varnishing the piece, I like to put it in a separate room so it can rest quietly and dry dust-free. The reason why I like using Philadelphia cream cheese containers is because they're white, so I can see if there's any dust or specks, and then I can just clean it off and put a lid on it. Once I'm done varnishing, I wrap my brush in saran wrap so that I can use it on a future day, because even though the varnish dries on the brush, it'll reactivate upon the next usage. And that's how I varnish my oil paintings. So I believe that concludes our varnishing video. I hope you learned something that was helpful or useful. If you're wanting to know more about my process or about information about how I paint and how I work, you can always follow me here on YouTube. Otherwise, I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Beau Frank. And then if you're ever on my website at beaufrank.com, I have my art supply list there. I have my online store. I have a blog. I have an About Me section. And then galleries that represent me and where to see my work and where to buy it. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.